Hi, I'm here to talk to you about punts. Let me show you an example of one. It's October 8th, 2022. The Cardinals are playing the Bills. Down 5 with 2 minutes left, the Bills are facing a very makeable 4th and 9. In fact, 60% of teams who go from here will make it. They absolutely have to get something on this drive. The Bills decide to punt. It'd be the last time they would ever touch the ball. But that was only one punt. One of the many punts in the 21st season of LFG. Over the coming time, I will introduce to you the cowardness of each of these punts. Because for the last season, I have logged every single punt in LFG. So that's why I welcome you to Dull Town. Unlike in real life, LFG is a game of touchdowns. Only 15% of drives end with a punt. However, within those 15% is some of the most dumbfounding decision making you will ever see. But there's a lot of sensible punting happening here. And sometimes, you just have to. October 24th, 2022, Saints vs Packers. With 2 minutes left and the game tied, near midfield, this drive should not end in a punt. On first down, a 5-yard gain. On second down, a 2-yard gain. On third down, near midfield, he is sacked for a 43-yard loss. On fourth down, the Packers are forced to punt. Out of all fourth downs that season, this will be the second longest fourth down. Looking back at our chart, let's look at how we can read it. On the x-axis, we have the punt number, as in when it was discovered. On the y-axis, we have the score, or how bad it was. Now, looking back at our chart, there are a lot of normal punts. Except this one. This late in the season. Who were you? Meet the Punt Index. We will feed every single punt in LFG through this algorithm. Let's see it. The Punt Index takes 4 things into consideration. The first thing it accounts for is field positioning. How this works is punting from the 10-yard line isn't that bad. It goes up a little bit once it hits the 60, and then it goes out of control. Now, punting on 4th and 15 is a little more understandable, so that's why you get an 80% off discount, 60% off for 4th and 7, and no discount for 4th and 1. Next up, we have the surrender chart. If the punting team is winning, we leave the score as is. If the game is tied, we add a multiplier of 2. If you are losing by more than 8 points, then it's increased to 3. And last but not least, I have saved the very special multiplier of 4 for if you're losing 1 to 7. This is because you were so close to erasing your deficit, you have no business playing it safe. If you want to play it safe, go become an accountant. It's a very important job, and it's apparently what you were born to do. Next, we take the clock into consideration. Now, this only applies if you're losing or tied after halftime, because that's when the gears really start to crunch. This is done with this formula, where X represents the amount of seconds after halftime. Why? Because it does this. Punting in the third isn't that bad, but once we start getting into the fourth, that's when it hits. Finally, we have the cancel button. If this punt seems stupid on paper, but actually made sense for other reasons, then we can spare it from judgment. Okay, let's do a test run. Hey, what about that Packers punt? The one on 4th and 51. Well, let's try it. This punt was on the 19-yard line. This punt was on 4th and 51. This punt was in a tie game. This punt was with 3 minutes left in the 4th. But I'm canceling it. I'm going to exercise my rare right to cancel it because it was a 4th and 51 from your own 19. 1 down, season's worth to go. So, we have our data. We got exactly what we wanted. We have punts that we can name and shame. Down here is the normal content. It ranges from, it's a good punt, to, I wouldn't have punted, but it's fine. Up here, that's the obscene content. That's where we're going. Have a look at this. Throughout the season, we looked at the average punt throughout different intervals of time. It starts here, and then you can see a general trend of cowardness decreasing. And then it spikes. It spikes all the way to 12. And then it falls back down to end the season. Most of the punts here are normal punts. But there are always outliers. And out of all the punts we assessed this season, 5 stand alone. October 14th, 2022. Lions at Colts. With not much time left in the third quarter, the Colts punt from their own 34 on 4th and 9 while losing by 1 for a score of 8.6. You know, the funniest thing about this punt is that it was completely avoidable. On 3rd and 9 on the play before, Quittaby under pressure looks around. He has a man wide open on the left side for a first down. But he underthrows the ball and it's swatted away. That brings up 4th down, which ultimately leads to the punt. Next up, punt number 4. October 25th, 2022. Jaguars at Vikings. This punt from their opponent's 45, with 3 minutes left to go in the third, down 14, and on 4th and 9, will be one of the most cowardly punts of the season, with a score of 9. But, let's see how it happened. The Vikings' 7th drive, 4:09 left in the third. The Vikings return it to the 31. On first down, it's an 18-yard gain. That's going to bring up 1st and 15. After that, an incomplete pass. That makes it 2nd and 15. All the way to the end zone, should I add. A 6-yard gain makes it 3rd and 9. And finally, a 0-yard gain makes it 4th and 9. Punt time. But sometimes, to find the worst punts, we must find familiar ones. October 27th, 2022. Packers at Dolphins. I remember this game. I commentated it. With 3 minutes left in the game, on 4th and 15 from their opponent's 46, in a tie game, Miami punts for a score of 20.6. Remember kids, the last one was a 9.4. Alright, maybe you're a Dolphins fan and you want to see why they punted. Facing a very makeable 4th and 15 at midfield, they decide to punt. Now the funny thing about this punt is the punt went to the 11 for what was effectively a 35-yard punt. Great stuff, guys. Next up, punt number 2, October 8th, 20... Hey, that's the punt from the beginning of the video! Yay! Why does it feel like all the familiar punts always come back here? Anyway, with 2 minutes left in the fourth, from their own 38, down by 5 on 4th and 9, they decide to punt for a score of 25.4. And finally, here it is, the saddest punt in the world. Wait, where is it? Oh, sorry. This isn't what the graph looks like. Here we go, and this is what the graph looks like. October 26th, 2022. Falcons at Buccaneers. This punt was from the opponent's 43. This punt was on 4th and 11. This punt was while down by 3. And this punt was with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. This gives us an absolutely mammoth score of 87.3. One punt dwarfs over all others. This punt, without peers, is all alone. This is a symbol of sadness. This is what losing teams do. And such, those Buccaneers lost. Remember those Bills from the beginning? They also lost. The Dolphins, who made it a 35-yard punt, they lost. The Vikings, who punted on a very makeable 4th and 9, they lost. And those Colts, who punted on a completely avoidable situation, they lost. These teams, with the worst punts, went 0-5 collectively. What does that say about the state of football intelligence in LFG?
What do you think, buddy? I think we're gonna have to punt on this one.